This story is it's unbelievable. The numbers right now, at least 273 people are dead, more than 1,300 are missing. That's an estimate. That number includes at least 65 Americans. Those numbers all expected to go up after a massive flood in Nepal, not far from the Chinese border. Something called a glacial collapse triggered an avalanche, and then all of that water had to go somewhere. So it went through these valleys there in Nepal, highest country by elevation by far on the planet. Imagine seeing a wall of water 150 feet tall coming at you at 120 miles an hour. But for whatever reason tonight, this story is not getting the attention that it should. Secretary of State Marco Rubio posting today that we, quote, are united in prayer for the Nepali people following the devastating floods. The U.S. State Department stands by ready to support the government of Nepal with humanitarian assistance. At least 65 Americans are still missing. I don't get why this is not getting more attention. This is a huge story. Dan Hovey is the Vice President of Global Emergency Response. He's working with people on the ground in Nepal. Bryan Stern is chairman and founder of Grey Bull Rescue. Gentlemen, great to have you both on. Dan, you're working with two relief groups inside Nepal to try and rescue people and get them out. The clock's ticking. Are you surprised this story is not getting the attention it probably should? 65 Americans are missing here, yet this is like the third story on the nightly news tonight.
Yeah, this is an absolutely tragic situation. I mean, this area, unfortunately, is prone to floods like this, but the extent and the death toll, which is expected to continue to rise, is definitely not something we see every day. So Direct Relief is working with our local healthcare partners. We have medical kits pre-positioned in Nepal, preparing for storm and monsoon season. So our local medical teams in Nepal will be dispatching these medical kits up into the impacted areas by helicopter. Today, these areas remain, very challenging to reach in normal times. So now roads are down, bridges are down, which is complicating and slowing down the relief efforts. So hopefully these supplies will reach the intended communities soon.
Okay, and I just, Dan or Bryan, you can weigh in on this, but I want to drive this home for everyone sitting at home right now. So Nepal, it's the rooftop of the world, the Himalaya Mountains, average elevation over 10,000 feet. That's 2 miles high. So that's a mile higher than Denver, Colorado, a mile higher. Everest is there, K2 is there. Everest is almost 30,000 feet high. So this is like, there's no airport, there's no international airport. Helicopters can only fly at a certain altitude. This is like the worst possible place, Bryan, isn't it, for something like this to happen?
So, yes, the operating environment of this disaster is the problem. Mud, of all the different kinds of disasters that there are, each one has their own flavor and associated problems with it. Mud of all the different kinds that there are is the worst, because vehicles can't get there. Heavy equipment sinks. You can't walk in it. The people that are impacted by it, the destruction of mud plus water is 10 times worse than just flood. Oh yeah, by the way, this is happening in the middle of nowhere, where it's already remote and already a challenge just to get there in the best of times. So this disaster is pretty significant.
Yeah, and you wonder why, so many Americans, 65, typically the season to summit Everest is May. It's springtime. So we've passed that. Believe it or not, in the mountains, it's already snowing. It's always snowing. Donald Trump was finally asked about this today. Dan, take a look.
We are sending aid, and we've spoken to the leadership, and we let them know anything they want, we'll have. And there were 50, maybe 60 Americans over there. We haven't gotten the full list yet, but hopefully they're okay. But that looks like something that somebody will be lost, unfortunately.
Dan, is there more that the U.S. could be doing to aid in rescue and recovery?
It's great to see that the U.S. government is supporting this response. And the recovery effort will last months. These communities have been completely destroyed. It's not, a situation where these people can go back to their homes and start up again. And many of these communities are subsistence farmers. They grow their own food. So it's just a different environment than we're used to seeing here. So the recovery will last months, and Direct Relief will continue to support our local partners with medical donations as well as cash to support their ongoing recovery efforts.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Bryan, I'm wondering if you've ever seen anything like this before, and I just want to share with you. So we've been in touch with people that are there all day long, but we kept losing the signal, so we weren't able to set up any sort of interview for tonight. But I all day we were trying to get people, and it's so bad. Have you ever seen, Bryan, anything like this before?
This is pretty bad, not just because it's so bad, but also the infrastructure on the ground is so bad. We've seen a lot of this kind of thing before. During the Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica, it was Grable Rescue that opened up communications in all of Montego Bay. Everything got washed away, all the towers went down, everything was gone, not able to even be repaired. We brought in Starlink. We saw the same thing in the Palisades fires. We brought Starlink, and then Elon Musk came in and gave a whole bunch of units and stuff, and those kinds of things. So communications, when these things happen, is always, it's very hard to conduct evacuations, rescues, coordination without communications. And the reality is that most of the people that do the heavy lifting in these situations are nonprofits, just like us, just like many others, and frankly, donations, philanthropy in America is down about 75%. So all the nonprofits are getting tapped out. We've had giant earthquakes this year, giant floods this year, war this year, all these kinds of things, and it makes it hard for the nonprofit community to do these things. Our website's grablerescue.org. There's other great websites out there too.
This is it's so devastating. So thank you for everything you're both doing, Dan Hovey, Bryan Stern. We're thinking about everybody who's missing, all the victims, 65 Americans. My goodness, that number is frighteningly high. Hopefully, rescues will happen over the next several days. But again, the clock is the issue right now. Gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.